Hey guys, we'll be getting started here in just about 2 minutes or so. Try to give you guys a heads up on any. We'll be getting started here in just. Oh, hang on a second, guys. Sorry, we got two computers going, one for the camera and one for messages and stuff. But anyways, try to give you guys a heads up on equipment and stuff that you need for class each day. For today, you guys really actually don't need anything except a little bit of open space. You guys can see we're in our living room again. Hopefully one of these mornings it's not going to be chilly out, and we're actually going to be back outside so we have more space.
Can you clip my pants so that they're not falling down?
In a minute. Okay. Anyways, today we are going to be doing hand techniques for application of the patterns and line techniques, and actually what their pieces and parts are really for. Some of this is going to be review, but just like always, get on the chat bar there, the live chat bar, and let us know, what ranks are here and stuff. You guys don't have to put your names in there, but definitely let us know what ranks are there so that I can do some stuff for each of your ranks as well as the beginning stuff. So keep something in mind for today. Your legs might get a little bit tired and a little bit tight. I don't plan on doing kicks because we did such a kick-heavy class last week. So give us a minute here and we will get started. But be warming up, be stretching already. Again, I'll do some light stretching with you guys, but I'd rather spend most of the time working. So give us 1 minute, all right?
It's almost time for popsicle.
Yeah. So far we have a green. Oh,
I do.
Did you get your?
Rewriting the oxygen.
oh yeah, I got.
Okay.
I got one. I don't know where the other one disappeared.
Diana, DOG.
What's that?
No, she can stay in.
Oh.
I don't want to work too hard.
Excuse me.
All right, guys. So we will go ahead and get started. It sounds like we've got quite a few different ranks from just about everybody. So again, we're worrying about hand techniques today. All right, we are going to stretch for a couple of minutes here. I will warn you guys, our friendly neighborhood polar bear, that would be Zelda, is probably going to be running in and out of class, so ignore her as best as possible. This is not our couch. This is her couch. At least that's what she thinks. So she will be coming through. So to start off with, let's start off with some of the easy stuff. Everybody, turn it. Anjo. Mokyam. Chariot. Sabanuke, Kunyang. Kwan. All right. To start off with, guys, I will just let you guys know there's for some odd reason, all of this being at home stuff, I think, is really starting to get to certain joints. So my foot and my shoulder, both on the left side, are acting up a little bit. So if you guys see me like cringe once in a while, just ignore it. I'm fine. All right.
You're on preset.
Start off really easy. Squat down on your toes, hands together, elbows just inside of your knees, and push them apart. Push your knees apart. Okay. As you're doing this, all right, you may need to separate your hands, but your job is to just push your knees apart as much as you can. Stand up, keep your feet there, bend over, touch the ground.
If you can,
Good.
try to
Stand
get
up, cross your feet, and bend over, touch the floor. And stand up, cross the other way, touch the floor. And stand up. Like I said, guys, really easy stretching. Oh, yeah, you're fine. Sorry, guys, we're trying to keep ourselves as organized as possible around here. All right. Anjo, kneel down. Okay. Again, just like last week, want your ankles flat. Want you up on your sitting up and lean back. And relax. Good. Keeping up on your knees, same way. Put one foot out in front of you, making sure your other foot is straight out behind you. Keep your knee behind your heel. Don't let them line up with each other. Definitely don't let your knee out in front. And just slide that foot out. Keep your body as upright as possible, facing forwards, kind of like a walking stance, toes, belly button, nose. And relax. And switch. Same deal. And relax. And while we're here, on your toes, sit down on your heels, and lean back once more. Get those thighs. Try to get away from the couch. And relax. Stand up. All right. Bring one arm across your chest and pull it in. And the other side. And behind your head. Again, you're getting your elbow behind your head, not next to your ear. Push down on it, right down in the middle, and lift your chin up. And other side. And relax. All right. So to start off with, we're going to review the basic crosses real quick. Okay. Again, if you guys are wondering why not more stretching and stuff, well, I don't want to use a lot of our time doing that, but what me and Mrs. Hanson, I think, we'll probably do is we'll set up an actual stretching video that you guys can watch. That way you guys can kind of get a good feel of what it is you need to be doing while you're not in class with us. So the crosses. I am going to get a little closer to the camera. Okay. Remember, an X, both hands facing away from you. Okay. This cross is only for a thumb side technique. Okay. For the inner forearm. Okay. The techniques like middle block. Okay. With the inner forearm. The hand that's on the outside, farthest away from you, that's the hand that you are always going to do the technique with. So right side, left side, right side, and left side. Okay. Second cross, back of wrist to back of wrist. So if you guys could see my watch face here, okay, my matching wrist where the for the watch face is touching, so that the hand closest to me is facing me, hand farthest away is facing away, and these are going to be your outer forearm or your pinky side techniques. Okay, so it's like rising blocks and low blocks and single knife hand blocks, knife hand strikes, things like that. Okay, so again, the hand closest to you is always the one doing the technique. All right. All right. So our hand techniques. First, you do have to combine your leg motion, your hip motion, and your hands. Now, those are three different things. Your legs, your knees go up and down, right? They bend. Your hips, they go back and forth. Okay. We talk a lot about, bending your knees before you move and then stepping. That way you're kind of pushing out with your knees. But I'm actually going to start with the hip motion here for a second. Okay. Mr. Hanson, stand right here, right up here, pretty close. All right. Now, this is going to seem ridiculous, guys, but it's actually kind of fun. And it's actually correct. Okay. Mr. Hanson.
Sir.
You have your belt on.
Yes, sir.
You've got this nice little flappy bit here on the ends of it. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to turn sharp enough that your belt actually swings and hits your hip. Okay? Try it. All right? Back and forth. So you go to the right, left. Okay? Now, every technique you do with your hands needs this. Okay? But it's not just your hip, okay? It's also your shoulders, okay? Your hips and your shoulders have to work together, okay? Pretty close, okay? But we're going to talk about two different parts of this. There's not enough hip and there's too much hip, okay? If you are doing your technique right, excuse me, Mr. Hansel, I'm going to show this one, okay? If you are doing your technique right, your hip will move only about 45 degrees at a time. For those of you guys who don't know what 45 degrees is, okay? If you look at a clock and you take the number 12 always as your beginning, in fact, okay? So try to get a little close here. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, you take your 12 here. And you take the 3 o'clock here. 12 and 3 are 90 degrees. So you have to go to about 1.5. This is 45 degrees. Your hips should only move about that much. Okay? About that same distance, that same angle. Okay? And this might take me a second here, guys. This is not the easiest clock to hang. I'm actually kind of amazed I got it on the first shot. So, okay, you're not turning sideways to forwards or forwards to sideways, okay? You're going halfway in between, okay? Halfway in between the 12 and the 3, and then turning into your technique. And it doesn't matter what the technique is, you're only turning that far. And your hips and shoulders have to move together. All right, Mr. Hanson.
Sir.
So, You're standing at Jumbi. Okay, you can stand kind of relaxed. I don't want you guys all tight and tense and all that stuff. Okay, put your punch out in front of you. Put your arm out in front of you like you're punching. Other hand on your hip. Bend your knees and pull your hip back a little bit. Raise up without turning and bring down with a turn. A nice sharp turn. Down and back, up, punch. Down and back, up, punch. Okay, now Mr. Hansen's got a better belt for this.
There's old.
Well, and this one, these ends are still pretty stiff for some reason after like a long time in Taekwondo. Okay, so I want you guys to watch this piece here. Okay, now he's turning too much if you guys notice.
Yeah,
okay,
I felt that.
so he needs to bend his knees, pull his hip back a little, and punch. And he does it again. And he does it again.
I think I feel it. I do it better on my left side than I do my right.
He's right, actually. His left side is better, but that's because he's more relaxed on his left side. I know you guys have never heard me say that.
Never,
Relax. Okay? So, down and back, relax. Up and out, sharp and fast. Now, I also want to point out that if you guys watch his shoulders, on his right side, his shoulders are moving more than his left side. If his left side's better, his shoulders shouldn't move quite as much. So he's pulling his shoulder back, not his hip. Okay? Use your hip. Okay? So, punching works that way, blocking works that way. So, I promised that we would do more than just, the basic stuff here. Okay? So, if you are a white belt, you're going to do low blocks. Okay? So that cross, again, back of wrist to back of wrist. Hand facing you is the one blocking. So even as you're moving, it should be down and back with a cross, up and forwards with that block. Okay? Pulling those hands apart. Pull them apart. Okay? Both of them. Then, if you are a gold belt, I actually want you to do, if you're a low gold belt, let's do low block, rising block. So now you have to do that cross twice. You have to do your hip motion, your shoulder motion twice, and your knees. Down, up with a cross, down, down, up, up. Okay, that's low block, rising block. Then, if you are a green belt, if you're a low green belt, doing that low block, rising block, but add high block to it for high gold belts and green belts. Okay, so you're here, down, up with a cross, down, down, up, down, up, to the side. So that's low block, rising block, high block. Okay, blue belts, or excuse me, high green belts and blue belts. Yours is just going to be that hooking block for now. Okay, but you're going to do two of them. Okay, so it's down, up, that's back of wrist to back of wrist, and block. But if you notice my hand is not coming straight across, it's coming up, over, down. Up, over, down. Okay, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, again, that hip motion has to be in there. That hip motion has to be in there, and it has to match your shoulders. Okay, high blue belts. You guys, unfortunately, don't have much for that back of wrist to back of wrist. Okay, a lot of your stuff is about stance transitions and how they work and getting your hands, all that stuff. So we will get there. So you might as well do that hooking block exercise. Red belts. I want, you know what? I think you guys are kind of stuck, okay? Because you guys don't have much in the way of that outer forearm cross either. So you guys will do the hooking blocks also. All right. Now, Mr. Hansen is going to do the gold belt stuff. Okay, so you're doing low block, rising block, high block. I'm going to do those hooking blocks with the high green belts and the block. Okay, so Let's do a total of 6. Okay, so that should be 3 on each side. All right. I don't care which side you start with, all right? But big deal. Bend. Lift with a cross, down, hip motion, and shoulders working together into your block. It's 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Okay, so if you're doing this right, you should actually be able to hear your uniform a little bit. Okay, that's if you're doing the same things as Mr. Hansen. Those blocks have a snap. They have power. They should accelerate as they move. Okay, if you're doing those hooking blocks, there shouldn't be a snap. You're not hitting their arm. Okay, you're catching their arm. Okay, so things to think about there is what kind of technique are there. So white belts, gold belts, you guys are going to say, but Mr. Hansen, you say everything has power. Yes, it does, but there's different kinds of power. Okay, so that would be your really basic movement for the outer forearm. Okay, again, outer forearm is pinky side. Okay, so that's knife hands. That's using this part of your arm, right? So, inner forearm. This one gets a little more complicated, only because people they want to try to move too fast. Okay, so we're all going to go back to one really easy block, middle blocks. Okay, now, Mr. Hansen, stand right here, please, and face the pictures on the wall over there. All right, so you guys notice I've got them sitting at this 45 degrees here, okay? So when you're doing this block, okay, so white belts, gold belts, green belts, all the green belts, you're going to be doing middle block. Blue belts and above, you're going to be doing middle block with the reverse knife hand, making sure the thumb comes over. There's your little hint, okay? So, Mr. Hansen, you're going to do the middle block with the inner forearm. I'll do the middle block with the reverse knife hand, okay? So if you notice, we're both standing at kind of an angle, okay? This really gets into that 45 degrees, all right? As we're blocking, we're going to turn and face the camera, but our arm is going to stay right in front of our shoulder, okay? That gives us the hip turn and the shoulder turn. So from Jumbi, bend your knees. This begins your cross. Whichever hand you're blocking with on the bottom, away from you, okay? So down, up, and block. Down, up, and block. Down, up, block. Down, up, block. Down, up, block. All of these ones should have power. And again, what you're looking for, okay, to help with that is your hips and shoulders moving together. A little bit ago, I talked about moving too much, okay? So, Mr. Hansen, face straight at me, right in the middle on that separation there, okay? So, I want you guys to watch something. I'm going to make him move too much. This is not correct, okay? I want you to bend your knees, twist, okay, towards the camera, okay? But now I want you to pull your shoulders even further. This does not give you more power. This takes away power, okay?
Over rotation.
Extreme over rotation, okay?
Pull it too far
What
back.
he's doing is now he's having to pull his hands from behind him all the way to the front. You don't want to do that, okay? You don't need to do that, and it doesn't help, okay? Your hands will stay right in the middle of your body, okay? You're not going to reach up in front of your face, okay? You don't want to do this. You need to be able to see what you're doing. So your hands really only cross to about this area here, okay? The very rib cage, sternum area, okay? And To make matters even more difficult, the more muscle you have to put into it, the less power you're getting. All right? If your muscles have to pull you out of something to throw you into something else, okay, they're overworking. You're actually taking away from their strength, so we don't want to do that. Okay, so now comes some of the fun part here. Okay, if those are the basics, what does the slightly more advanced look like? All right, Mr. Hanson, back here with me, please. All right, this is where you're going to need a little bit of your space. Every time you move, I tell you to bend your knees and relax at the same time. I tell you that your hands have to cross, your hips and shoulders have to move, and you have to do it fast. Well, the very beginning of a technique is not fast. It's actually kind of slow. So it should look something like this. Okay? Mr. Hanson is going to bend his knees, and he's going to shift his weight, in this case, because that's where I'm standing, over to his right foot so he can begin to move his left foot in front of him. You're going to do a walking stance and a punch. We're going to work really simple here for a second. Okay? So, left walking stance, left punch. He bends his knees, and he shifts his weight, and his hands immediately start moving into a slight circle so that he can stay in motion. This is that hard part, believe it or not, okay? As he steps out, his motion starts to become more straight line than circular. Okay, see, he's already got his hand here. Because this hand should be in the matching spot, which actually is like way back here. We don't want that. You want your hands to stretch out to their farthest point, and right as they get there, they switch. But that's right at the end of your stance. Go. Okay, step back. All right. So I'm going to do this like kind of 90 or 45 degrees-ish. Hopefully I'm not getting in the way of seeing him or myself, okay? So we're both doing the left hand, okay? Ready? Yes, sir. All right. So down and relax. Shift your weight onto your right leg. If you notice where my hands already are, they're already in like this kind of neutral, easy to move position. So that as I start to step out, my hands move. Okay. There's that circle, right? Okay. And then right at the end, everything shoots right as your foot hits the ground. Hips, shoulders, all of that. Okay. So one more time. Ready? Down, stretch out, up, down. Okay. Now, we'll see if Mr. Hanson can do this. Otherwise, all right. He's excited, I promise. So, ready? Sure. Take your time. Take your time. I'm telling him, I'm telling you guys, take your time. Okay, ready? Set. Go. Same side. Go. Down and back. Out and up. Punch. It actually was decent time. Okay? You have to shoot the hip in and the shoulder, pulling the hands at the same speed to the hip that you're punching at. Okay? So, now try this on your other side. All right? So we're here. We're standing at Jump B. Okay, you ready? So now we're doing the right side, right foot moving, right hand punching. So, down and relax. Out. And you're starting to move your hands opposite of their position. Okay, so my left hand is coming up as my right hand comes back. Okay, down and out, up, and punch. Shooting that hip in. Okay, ready? One more time. Down and relax, up and stretch, and punch. Okay? All right, I want you to do that like 10 times. Let's make it this. I want you to do it 10 times, 4 times an hour for the next like 1,000 days. Okay? You'll get pretty good at it, I hope. All right? So, that's punching. Even if you're not stepping, that's how a punch works. Okay? Down and relax, up and stretch, down and a punch. Okay, pulling that hip, making your hip move with your hand. Okay, that's the big trick. It's getting your hips and shoulders behind that hand. So there's your punching and moving. So how do you do blocking and moving? Big hint, exactly the same. All right. Sir, Mr. Hanson, sir, is there a difference between punching and blocking?
No.
By the way, if you guys have an answer, I want to hear it too, okay? Is there a difference between punching and blocking? Okay?
Can you specify, like,
Is there a difference? Any kind of difference? What kind of difference is there, okay?
crosses?
Mr. Hanson says that because there's a cross, there's a difference. Is he correct? Ms. Hanson, is there?
Miss Matthews says no, sir.
So I've got an answer for somebody out there that says no, sir. Is there a difference? Correct. No. Okay, just because there's a cross, there is no difference. Okay, your hand motion in a punch. Okay, that circular movement where your hands move opposite to each other, like a kind of like a bicycle. Okay, but with a little bit of hand flipping in there. Okay, no difference. The cross is all part of it. Okay, except where you have to move to. All right. Keep in mind, the only techniques that have crosses start in the middle of your body and move outward. Outward meaning left and right, up or down. Okay. That is outward. Okay. From the middle out somehow. All right. White belts. You're doing walking stance, low block. Okay. If you're doing this right, then your hands will actually start from Jumbi. They'll lift up into the cross, out into the block. So you notice that there's circles going on here, okay? Here. Now, if you are a gold belt, I actually want to see L stance, knife hand strike. This would be our friendly neighborhood polar bear here, okay? So, again, L stance, knife hand strike. So now you're going from 90 degrees to 45 degrees to pull off that hip turn for the knife hand, okay? If you are a high green belt, I want to see Miss Sanson, give me a high green belt technique. That moves outward. I can live with that. So if you're a high green belt, I want to see twin knife hand block. Okay? Twin knife hand block. All right? Both hands are going to face you. Lead hand is on the inside as you move. Okay? Now, blue belts. You guys, unfortunately, are going back. I got a little ahead of myself. Sorry, guys. Had to stop and think. Blue belts. You might as well do that twin knife hand block also. Okay? Red belts. You know what? You guys are red belts, so let's give you guys something hard to do. All right? Do I have any high red belts out there?
Mrs. Hanson? High red belts?
High red belt?
Yes.
No,
High
I
red
don't think
belts.
so. I think we just have red belts.
Okay. I'm not getting any fast answers, so I'm going to take that as a no, sir. That's all right. Okay. But
Miss Matthews said bless you.
what?
Oh, Miss Kara's on. So
Okay.
seen
So
you.
I do. All right. Good. So for our high red belts, senior high red belt, I'm not going to make any distinction between the two of you guys at the moment. Okay. You are going to do rising block, low block. That means you have to get that hip turn in there twice. Okay. So back of wrist to back of wrist, going up, going down. Opposite of what the gold belts are doing. Okay? Now, I saw on there, I believe I've got at least first on out there. Okay? Mr. Valdez.
No, it's Miss Valdez.
Miss Valdez. Ah, okay. I may have lied, so we'll leave it at what it is right now. So, you're going to do the same thing that we just did. Okay? You're going to step. You're bending your knees. Okay? As soon as you bend your knees, elbows should bend to relax also. This is where you breathe in. Okay? You're breathing in. As soon as you're moving forward, you're lifting up into the cross, down with a hip turn. Okay? As you lift up, you're turning for your hips. Okay? As you go down, you're turning into the technique. And then again, if you're doing two techniques. Okay? So, from here, down and relax. Breathe in, up, and down. Up, down. Okay? So that's low block, rise block, whatever your technique is. I'm not going to go through the whole list. Okay? I want you to do that 10 times. Okay? I'll give you guys 3.5 seconds to do it. All right? Now, as you guys are moving, I need you to think about a couple extra things. Okay? Your feet. If your feet are lifting up off the ground to take a step forward and stomping with your technique, well, it's good for power, but unless you're doing a technique and a pattern that calls for the stamping motion, it's not correct. Okay? I don't know if you guys can hear it, but your feet should just slightly brush the floor, okay? Or come up off the floor about that much. Okay, just barely, maybe 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. No, it's not easy, and if you guys have ever watched me, as I get really into doing a pattern or I'm getting really into doing techniques, my foot lifts up about 3 or 4 inches and comes down. That's not correct. Okay, but so you're standing at Jumbi. Down, up into your cross with the hip turn, down into your technique with the hip turn. Down, up, down. Okay? Hands moving in a circular motion. All right? So, any questions so far from anybody? This could be crosses. It could be, does my head turn with my technique? What do you guys think? Okay. If you have questions, make sure you ask. I've got Mrs. Hanson sitting over here on a laptop telling me about what you guys are saying out there. Okay. So, does your head turn? No, it does not turn. You should always be looking where your technique is going, not where your body is swinging and twisting towards. Okay, so let's see here. We've covered sine wave. We've covered hip turn, shoulder turn. We've covered crosses. Any of your hand techniques can be done this way. And not only can be, but should be. All right? So,
Maybe ask them what they want to do back on anything that you missed that they might want to see.
yes. If there's any techniques that you guys want to see right now, type them in. Okay? If there's, a specific sequence of techniques, this is the time. Type them in. Shoot them to me, okay? Otherwise, take a quick minute, get a drink if you need it, and we are going to go and finish class with a little bit of hose and soul type stuff, okay? And we're actually going to do like grab stuff like that and
Go ahead and finish. I'll show you in a minute. Oh, you can. We'll give them a couple minutes to get a drink.
All right, take 2 minutes and we'll be back, okay?
What they want to see. Word. All around. So 1, 2.
Oh, okay, yes.
We're gonna say.
Okay, so I did get a request for a technique. So in water on, okay, I'm going to show you guys the first stretch of techniques here, just, okay? So you're starting in closed ready stance C. Sitting stance, pushing block with the palm, coming off the mats and running into wall. So sitting stance, pushing block with the palm, punch, punch. Twin forearm block. So if you think about the green belt power one yo and you do high inward strike with the knife hand, okay, remember that it's high section, so it's at the head, but in water on, you're actually doing an upward punch. It's exactly how it sounds, okay? So you have your twin forearm block, hands come apart. Notice that my hips and body are turning, okay? This hand is going to come down. Side fist, that's pinky side, to the opposite shoulder. The other hand, upward punch. Okay, if you notice I'm doing it at an angle again, just that same angle for high inward strike with the knife hand, upward punch. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, your hands from that twin forearm block are coming apart and up. So they're actually circling into each other as my hand moves upwards. Okay. Punching knuckles into the jaw. Okay, so twin forearm block, upward punch. I'm pulling up just enough so that I can turn and slide into that sliding fixed stance punch. Downward strike with the knife hand. There is a cross here. Okay, so from the punch, down, up, down, punch. Okay. What's wrong?
Nothing.
So,
That's it.
I hope that answered it. Are there any other techniques that you guys would like to see? Hand techniques from patterns. Give you guys a minute here. Okay. All right. So I know a lot of you guys have brand new patterns that you have to learn. Look at the website. We have every pattern from white belt all the way up through first dan up. We have most of the second dan patterns, I think.
None of
Oh, we don't have any of the second dan
one.
patterns. Okay.
We have one.
All right, so we've got one pattern for second dan up. We're working on getting the other two up, but make sure you look at those, okay? Slow them down, pause them. If you have questions, ask. That is what we're here for. Okay, so
And so hopefully have all the white belt, all the line techniques posted by Monday or Tuesday. Up through.
oh yes, and we'll have most of the line techniques from white belt to first dan up, not through first dan, but up to first dan. Okay, and that should be by Monday or Tuesday. So again,
Mr. Malik wants to see a twin forearm block.
twin forearm block. Okay, twin forearm block is pretty simple. Not really. Okay, you're in your L stance. Okay. So I'm in a left L stance. My left leg is back. I'm facing this direction, okay? The hand in front is going to curl in, facing me, palm towards me with a fist, right? The other hand on the outside. This hand on the outside is going up. The hand on the inside goes out. And they do it at the same time, okay? So inside, outside, block, block, block. Okay, same thing on the other side. So now I'm in a right L stance, hand in front, curled in, hand in back on top. Let me turn a little more towards the camera so you can see. Okay, again, I'm pointing here towards Mr. Hansen. Okay, twin forearm block, twin forearm block, twin forearm block. Okay, so
Toes were pointing at an angle, not towards the wall.
they should be. They're not pointed at me. The outside edges of my feet are 90 degrees to each other. Thank you very much. Uh-oh. Mr. Hanson, just out of confusion. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Stances can be very confusing too. Okay.
I've always had my front foot.
If you are in a stance, say sitting stance, your feet should be on the inside, 1.5 shoulder widths apart, right? That's at the ball of the foot and at the heel, okay? But what part of your feet point forwards? Is it your pinky toe, that edge of your foot pointing forwards and parallel to each other, or is it the big toes? Okay? Think about that for a moment, all right? See if you guys come up with the right answer, okay? Because in a sitting stance, being the basic of all stances, what aims forwards there is what we base all of our stances on, okay? So it's either inside edges, that's the big toe side, or the outside edges, the pinky toe side.
I see a pinky toe. I see all toes.
Let's see. Miss Carr says pinky toe. Miss Matthews says all toes.
Well, we're going to start with an odd one here, okay? And I want you guys to look at your feet for a quick moment, and I want you to point all 5 of your toes directly forwards. Okay, try it. See what happens when you point all 5 toes forwards. Okay? And what you're probably going to find is you can't. Okay? Because the human foot isn't set up so that all 5 toes point forwards. They kind of splay apart a little bit, kind of like opening your hand. Okay? With slight gaps in it, not this much, but just slight gaps. Okay? You got one pointing here, 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 here. Okay? That's all right. It actually is the pinky toes. So if you said pinky toes, good job. All right, you're correct. Okay? You should be making the outside edges of your feet parallel to each other in a sitting stance. So as you bend your knees go out towards the toes. Okay, not sideways, but, you know, bending towards your toes. Okay, two toes. Okay, yeah, you can probably get 1 or 2 toes to point the same direction, but getting all of them doesn't quite work. Okay, so when you're in your sitting stance, outside edges pointing forwards. So Mr. Hanson's confusion was pretty reasonable. Okay, in an L stance, your feet should be at 90 degrees to each other. That means that they're making that L shape, right, like this. Okay, it'll make more sense like this. Okay, but that's okay. In an L stance, the outside edges of your feet should be at 90 degrees. So it will look like your feet are pointing in slightly, but they're not. They're actually just they're 90 degrees to each other, perpendicular to each other, okay? So I'm going to show this as best as I can, okay, given how far away from the camera we are. But if this edge of my foot is parallel to the couch now, all right, the edge of my left foot should actually be parallel to the wall back here. Okay, so this is what an L stance should look like. And if you notice, I hope you guys can see this. Okay, there's the crack in the mats. My feet are not on the same line as each other either. They're about 1 fist width next to each other. So this edge is here, this edge is here, and then I sit on it. This knee and this line should be straight on this edge of your body. Okay, so actually a good question. Okay,
But then how in this it doesn't feel right when you shift your for a fixed stance. How
okay.
would you shift your weight to here? That doesn't.
You don't you actually don't do it by doing this. Okay, I want you to move. Green belts. Mr. Hanson is asking a question for you guys. Okay, So you have twin forearm block, high inward strike at the knife hand, fixed stance, middle punch. What is the two differences between L stance and fixed stance? What is the difference between L stance and fixed stance? There's two of them. But only two. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds here. Kind of got to type to talk to each other. I got red belts out there. Red belts should be able to answer this. Blue belts should be able to answer this. Something just popped up.
Your stance is slightly bigger.
Okay, how
Pivot.
much bigger?
Pivot.
And in what way bigger?
And
There's a pivot.
Mr. Stifel said pivot. And Mrs. Soriano said your weight is in the center.
No, that's Miss Matthews.
Okay.
So I'm reading right here, Mr. Hanson.
Yeah, I'm looking
I
at
got
it too.
Mr. Hanson, stop. It's
Miss Carr said 50-50 on a fixed stance.
okay. So far I've got like
Miss Soriano said weight centered versus on the back leg.
okay. The weight difference is absolutely correct. Okay. And an L stance, it's here. It's on this back side. In a fixed stance, it's centered. Okay. But I'm not doing this to center it. Okay. It's that length difference this direction. Okay. If an L stance, watch out for a second, Mr. Hanson, thank you. Okay. From this edge to my toes is 1.5 shoulder widths. Okay. Then a fixed stance is only half a foot length longer. So now it's 2. And now look where my weight automatically shifted. Now it's in the middle of my stance. Here it's in the back. Here it's in the middle. L stance, fixed stance. Okay, there's your difference. Okay, that's all there is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're not doing it by turning your body. You're doing it just by lengthening that stance 1/2 of a foot length, not half of 12 inches. Okay, some of you guys out there, if you have a size like
Miss Matthews said she would say about a fist wider.
not wider. Okay, it's actually the same width, that one fist width. So it's not going to go to 2. It's actually going to stay here. It's just going to get longer. Okay, so I'm hoping this is like helping you guys here. Okay, we got about 10 minutes left. Now we're going to apply some of those hand technique ideas, believe it or not. Okay, Mr. Hanson, in front of me, please. If you have somebody at home who's willing to help you, get them now. Okay, or obviously these videos, they're recorded and you can come back to it later and you can do it with somebody. Okay, we're going to take our basic wrist grabs and we're actually going to apply them. Okay, so just for the moment, I want to take my watch off. If you guys have a watch on and you're working with somebody, same thing, take it off for a minute. Okay, and I'm rolling my sleeves up a little bit here so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And again, we're going to start off with those basic wrist grabs, how to apply them, how to, not the wrist grabs, obviously that part's obvious, and not the release because I know you guys know how to do those, but how to apply the crosses that you just did. Okay, if I'm standing at Jumbi, and Jumbi is just a starting position, it's not Hosen Sul starts at Jumbi, no, okay? It's just a starting point, okay? Mr. Hanson, for right now, grab my right wrist, please, with your left hand, so straight grab. Okay, so he's got my wrist, right? So if you watch, I'm going to keep my hand in a knife hand for a moment. If I draw that circle, starts off kind of like the block does, right? Okay, kind of coming up to the middle, all right? And then as I rotate out, like a single knife hand block or a knife hand strike, okay? So I'm standing at Jumbi, he grabs. What if I add my cross into there? Oh, look at what I'm doing to him now, okay? I've got him up here. Just because I'm bringing my hands together, oh, wait a minute. Now I'm also hitting his hand with that wrist, okay? So he grabs, Boom. There's my cross, right? There's my block. Oh, wait, now I'm out of it. All right. Now, so your cross can act like a strike, inner forearm, because we're doing back of wrist to back of wrist. Okay. He grabs one more time. Okay. There's my cross. There's my block. Okay. Why a block instead of a strike? It's just what I chose. Okay. So if I want to.
With the cross, couldn't you break a hand?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Do a cross grab, please. Okay. So now he's got me here. Well, what if I change it to, say, an inner forearm block? Look what I've done to his hand. Okay.
I can't even grab.
Now I'm out of it. Okay. Now the cross in this case, okay, believe it or not, isn't quite as helpful. All right. Except that here I can turn it into a grab easier. Oh, look at that. Okay. I can turn it into a grab easier just because I'm bringing my hands together. All right. So if he does a wrist grab again, all right. So now he's doing a straight grab on the other side. Okay. There's my cross, right? But look where his hand is. Okay, here, this inner forearm, the thumb side cross, doesn't look like it's going to do much for me, except I can keep going with it. And now I've got him in a wrist grab here. Okay, so all I'm doing is moving him. Oh, look at that. If I bring them together, oh, there's that inner forearm block to here. Okay, not the block, but the cross, right? The thumb side. He's loving it, I promise, guys. Okay, so I'll show it on this side now. Okay, grab here. All right, if I bring my hands together into a cross here, look at where I've got him. Okay, I've got his hand here. So if I change it from my wrist to my palm as I come down, there's my wrist grab. There's my wrist lock. Okay, the other hand is still in the right position. Okay, to grab, step back, and press in. Okay, now my hand slipped a little bit, so I'm grabbing his fingers. That's bad, okay, and I know I'm blocking the camera now. All right, so now I'm going to do it on the other side one more time. Okay, one, just like my cross. Okay, hands facing away, inside hand, protecting me, outside hand, about to do the block, the release. There's my wrist grab, grabbing the back of his hand. So you can see he's got his little fingers here, okay? I keep turning so his fingers point up. That hand that was here that he grabbed on his elbow, and I can step in or I can step back. Okay, so there's how you can apply your crosses, okay? Second, what if they're not grabbing, they're striking? Okay, so he's punching me, okay? Well, I don't like that, all right? Here's the cross, okay? So I'm going to change my angle here just a little bit, okay? Hold, all right? All right, my hands coming together. Notice I've got one passing under, one about to pass over, okay? I'm holding my hands open just so you guys can hopefully get a better picture of this on the camera, okay? Under and over, and there's my cross, okay? Right here, my elbows bend. Now if he keeps pushing forwards as I turn and I block, he punches past me, okay? This is also how your crosses work. This is the very first use of them, okay? If you think somebody's throwing something at your face, what's your natural reaction? To bring your hands up and protect yourself, right? Well, now you can teach yourself to do something productive out of that instinctive reflex, okay? And not up in front of your face, unless they're punching there, okay? Not in front of your face, but chest level, okay? This height here, okay? Now, some of you guys might be asking, how does a cross help, you know, when they're grabbing your clothing, okay? Mr. Hanson, grab here. Okay, so he's got me in a lapel grab, okay? inner forearm right here. Okay, so what's the cross for that? The other hand is going to come up first. What if I use that like an inward block, where I use them together? Oh, look at that. Okay, one underneath, one on top. There it is. This hand is going to grab. This hand is going to curl like a, oh, look at that, like a hooking block. Okay,
Luckily,
so now I have this. Okay, he's having fun. Maybe not. Okay, and then pow. Okay, so even if they're grabbing your clothing, your crosses can help. Okay, Mr. Hanson, sir, one more time. Grab with the other hand, same spot.
Yes.
Okay. There's that inner forearm piece, kind of like I'm about to do a high block here. Okay, so I come up underneath. The other hand comes to his elbow. Ooh, look at that. Now look where I have him. There's your hooking block. Okay. Now, is it guaranteed to get their hand off of you? No. Okay. Could it? Sure, it could. Okay. But I'm not really doing this to get his hand off. I'm actually doing it to put him in a bad position. Okay. And all I'm doing is using my crosses and that body movement, the hip turns and the shoulder turns, okay, combined to make this happen. Okay. Is there?
Nope.
Okay. So, I hope today was helpful, guys. I hope you kind of enjoyed it. It is 11:45, and we will start closing up class. I do want to say we do have a birthday out there, Mr. Yakubeta. Happy birthday!
11 today.
He's turning 11 years old today. So if you guys have a way to get a hold of him, make sure you call in, say happy birthday, video chat, whatever. And really happy birthday. I do mean that. I know this has got to be
The worst.
very difficult, have a birthday on, but here at Mount Young, happy birthday. Okay. And everybody keep your eyes open. I have been struggling and racking my brain and pounding on my head to find a way to get you guys to do power striking, power kicking, stuff like that. So keep your eyes open. I'm reaching into the book for this because, if you guys read the book properly, and well, if you read it, you don't even have to read it properly, then there's a lot of answers in there on how to train alone and everything. So things, at least as far as my class goes, might change a little bit. So if Saturdays are not working for you, or if 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:45 in the morning isn't working for you, tell us, okay? We will do our best to, maybe adjust times or see about maybe, 1 week doing it at this time, the next week doing it at a different time. Okay, but let us know. And otherwise, that's pretty much it for today. Again, Mr. Yakubeta, happy birthday. Everybody, Trayet, Anjo, Mukya. Good, right hand up. Student oath, ready, Sicha. I shall observe the tenets of Taekwondo. I shall respect my instructors and seniors. I shall never misuse Taekwondo. I will be a champion of freedom and justice. I will help build a more peaceful world. Tenets, courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirits. Trayet. Sabaminke, Kuni, Kwan.
Isa.
Kamsamnida. Good job, guys. Like I said, we will see you guys later, and keep your eyes open because I will be making a video on how to help you learn power striking as soon as possible. Have a good one, guys.